How's everybody doing? I'm Ryan Hollins. That's my partner, Brennan Haywood, and you are welcome to the second episode of the Opinionated Podcast. We're both fellow 7-footers, and we decided to bring our point guard, the man of the moment, the hibachi, Agent Zero Gil. What's going on, dog?
What's up, man? Thank you for having me, man. I feel like this is a team. Y'all teaming up on me.
Hey, whoa. First of all, he will not be known as the hibachi on this podcast until he gives me credit and pays homage for me actually coming up with that name. Ryan, I do not know if you know this. The hibachi was something that I started in practice. Gilbert stole it from me, made it famous, and found a way to get endorsements off of it, and didn't give me a dime.
Give me the story behind this, dog. I know he's supposed to be telling the stories, but both of y'all hold on. How did this come? Like, what happened? Was there a play? Was it after practice? Like, yo, you got to be Sutton Gil. How did this happen?
Because you know, Brendan's a smart aleck, right?
Very true.
So it was more about the defense that I was playing at the time, which was non-existing. So I was getting torched every game, right? So he's like, yeah, y'all out there getting that hibachi treatment. They out there cooking chicken and rice.
Chicken and shrimp, baby. Chicken and shrimp.
Chicken and shrimp. So just like that. So I'm like, well, damn. So every time someone scored on me, whoo, he got that hibachi. So I decided they hearing it in practice. No one's heard it in the game. So I took it for the game and started saying it.
Hey, listen, man. He took it, and it took another, like, he would hit shots and come down, start dancing like this, doing the hibachi down the court. Everybody in D started riding the wave, and I'm just sitting in the background with them. I can't believe his face as this dude found a way to make money off of something that I came up with, and that was an inside joke on our team. He took it to the masses and made a lot of money. That's Gilbert Arenas, man. The guy got 9 lives, man. He always finds a way.
Yeah, Gil, you definitely underrated as your own marketing strategist, brand specialist. Like, you was thinking about this stuff way before retirement. It's funny, Gil. I got to, like, everybody's like, yo, Gil is wild. Gil is this. But you're like, bro, I've always just been me. Like, where did that start? Like, I know for myself, I was always a quiet, sheltered kid, pretty soft-spoken, silly as heck, normal 7-footer stuff. I would say the wildest I get her that people actually got to see publicly was me on First Take. But, like, when did you...
You mean when you was up there acting like Stephen A. Smith?
Like a flying donkey?
Hey.
Oh, 7-foot Stephen A. Smith up there. I'm like, who is this guy?
Hey, no, but for real, Gil, were you always the same Gilbert in high school? When did that personality come out, or was it always just there?
Yeah, I was always just a jokester. Like I never really took things serious unless I was playing basketball. So like even with AAU, I'm hearing stories about how I used to like set the alarm off at the hotels and take the eye hole out the little thing at on the door, take the little eye hole out, and then when somebody I'll knock on it, when you look in, I'll spray water in your eye. Like, I guess I was just always that guy, so I was just me, but sometimes I always took my jokes too far. Sometimes you just got to cross that line just to see where the line's at.
Now, you talk about being in high school, AAU, and the jokes and everything, but I think it's interesting now that you're working with kids and you're training kids and you talk about the mentality of what it takes to be a winner. Because even though you had that joking side, you've always had that dog mentality combined with the jokes. I remember sitting in the locker room listening to you and Deshaun Stevenson tell a story about when Deshaun Stevenson was the #1 player in the world. Gilbert Arenas at this point was unheard of. And you had the balls to stalk this man all around the gym, talking junk to him before y'all even played. Like, where did that mentality come from? And please tell the story of what made you want to run up on the #1 player as an unknown player and say, hey, fam, I'm about to give you that work.
Yeah. So, I'm from the Valley, 818, it's white boy city. At this time, there was no talent. All the talent was in, Los Angeles. So the only time that I got real bump is when everyone came for like the Bigfoot tournament or the big Adidas tournament in Carson. So, this is our 10th grade year. This is our 10th grade year. He's a freshman, right? I mean, he's monkey dunking on everybody. Like, I mean,
people forget how much bounce D. Steve used to have. His bounce was ridiculous. After that back surgery, he never jumped the same. But before that back surgery, he had mega bounce.
I mean, you're talking about a 2-foot jumper, and then he got the swag when he did. So, like, he was a rock star when he came to LA. Then you had Carlos Boozer. Then you had, they played on the same team, Steve Blake. Then you had DeMar Johnson and, DC Assault. So you got all these kids coming in, right? And I'm trying to make a name for myself. So I'm just sitting there just poking at everyone. So, he's sitting there dunking on monkey dunking on everyone. So I just said, we got to play them tonight. He ain't that damn good. That nigga ain't hit one jump shot. He ain't dribbling. So I went over there and just said, hey, I'm going to give you that work later on tonight. So
he's sitting in the stands, and you walk up and tell him that.
Walk straight to him, give you that work. Like, I'm about to give you that I'm giving you all the work. But in reality, we didn't guard each other. I didn't have to guard him. He was the shooting guard. I was the point guard. But I just needed to let him know that I was coming. So usually everybody, like when, Tony Bland, when he was the number 1 point guard.
Ooh, Tony Bland. Yeah, he was nice.
I'm giving you 40. I'm giving you 40 because I wanted them to really test me. Like, I really wanted them to take me serious. Like I was making the All-Star game, but if it was 20 people, I was number 20. I made it, but I was 20. So my games was usually 8 in the morning, 9 at night. Ain't no scouts. You know what I mean? So there was no scouts. So I was just trying to get notice from the players themselves. So I was just walking up to everyone, just talking trash. Like, I really didn't care. Like, I remember when I seen, I don't even know if you remember, it was Gary Payton's brother. Yeah, Gary Payton had a brother. And, GP's brother, you ain't the glove. You ain't like the glove. You might be a baseball mitt, but you ain't the glove.
Hey, come on, man. Have some respect, man.
No, hey, I didn't know who he was. Like, I think his name was like Brandon. It was Brandon.
Brandon Payton?
Brandon Payton. I'm just sitting there talking trash.
So in the middle of the game, you talking trash to these guys and going off. And was it a point where you were nice back then, or your talk was way above your game and your game caught up later?
No, the thing is, I was nice, but I was two-dimensional. I did play defense, but because no one knew who I was, I had the advantage back then of just giving people 30, 40. So by numbers, and plus, I had like Dunleavy on my team, so he only passed me the ball. So most of my team was just the people I knew. So all the possessions went to me. So I really got, like, if we got beat by 50, it didn't matter because I did have 50. So it was just one play, and I was just trying to score everything. So I was like that demon child. Like, if you look at, like, averages, I probably led every camp in scoring.
So you've always had the confidence. Yeah, the confidence has always been sky high.
Yeah. Like, it was just one of those things where I was just talking my way to be, because I didn't think I was an NBA player, because when I first met Boozer, I thought he was a counselor. He's sitting there big, and I'm like, yo, where the lunchroom at? And he was
hey, come on, man. We trying to say Booze look old?
No, he was big. Like, he was big. So I'm like, yo, where the lunchroom at? He was like, I'm looking for it too. And I'm like, hey, you a counselor and you don't know where the lunchroom at? He's like, I'm not a counselor. I'm a player. And he said, I'm a sophomore. A what? Sophomore?
Yeah, Boo's always been rock solid, man.
And I'm like, oh, this is what NBA players look like. Shit. So that was the first time I, like, really seen, like, yo, sophomore. Then DeMar Johnson came. So it was real, it was a real shock for me. So the only thing I had was the mouth. I'm just going to talk my way into it. But, I was scoring too. So it was really hard to stop because most of those guards back then were passing guards. So it was really like,
Gil, man, Gil, you brought this up. I got to hear one of a classic prank stories. It could be either from your AAU squad, something you've done in the NBA.
And now something you did in Arizona, man, because I heard in Arizona you were a tyrant.
Oh, yeah. So look, low key, I know they didn't like me. And one, they didn't like me because I already ran one of their friends out of town when I took his position.
Who's that?
So they already had Reuben Douglas.
I never heard of him.
When he left, he ended up leading the nation in scoring his senior year.
Oh wow, didn't know that.
Yeah. No. He had a flamethrower.
Okay.
he had a flamethrower. So I took his position in Arizona. So they really wasn't feeling me like that because I was rogue. So they used to pick on me a lot. So I remember we in Stanford, and it was Eugene Eggerson and Lauren Woods as roommates.
I hope you didn't prank Lauren, because Lauren is low key crazy. I hope you didn't prank Lauren.
No. Both of them. Yeah, Eugene was the psychopath. Eugene was. So what I decided to do is they was messing with me on the bus. I took my shirt, went into the koi pond, took the koi pond fish out the koi pond.
Are you serious?
Yes, sir. Put it in front of their door, right? Knocked on the door. They got a flapping fish right there. So they had to think about what they were going to do. At first, they closed the door, and then they had to open it to get the fish back in there because they couldn't let the fish die on its watch, right? After they did that, that's when I took the knob out, boop, 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 took the fire extinguisher, sprayed it right through the eye hole, shot. And then from there, went through under the door and was just spraying the whole fire extinguisher under the door. So
are you serious? They should throw you out of school for this.
Yo. Okay, they tried.
They should have.
So they got the call. So Lute Olson wasn't there. So they called his wife, Bobby Olson, answered. So Bobby Olson called me to the room and said, "Hey, we got this call. And listen, I know that you're a little eccentric." Right. At first, I was going to take that as offense.
That's a nice way to put it.
I was going to take that as offense because I didn't know what the word was at the moment. Eccentric? Is that the N word?
Hey, listen. You didn't understand what's going on. You thought she was being racist.
I didn't know what that word was at the time. So she was like, I know you're excited, traveling and all that. I'm not going to tell them. Just bring down the pranks just a little bit. I was like, okay. All right, I'll bring them down just a little bit. I'll bring them down just a little bit. I ain't going to bring them all the way down. So, that she was my first, she was like the mother away from, home. So she really covered up a lot of the things I did.
Oh my goodness. That's crazy. Hey, sticking with Arizona, you said something that was interesting. When you were in high school, you didn't think you were going to be a professional basketball player. When did you know that, hey man, when you were at Zona, I can do this. I can do this for money at a high level.
See, the funny part about Arizona is I was going there as a redshirt freshman. Right. So I was going to be redshirt in my freshman year. And I went to Michael Jordan camp, a couple months before that. And was so I'm probably the only person that ever done this. So you got Michael Jordan camp. So I got the invite to Michael Jordan camp. And I look at the list. Most of the players I never heard of, but they were the top in the country. So, they were top in the country. You got McDonald's All-American, you got Quinn Richardson. Yeah. You got Darius Miles, who's going straight to the NBA. Then you had Amari Stoudemire. He was in the 11th grade. So you got all the Sean Lampley. So you had real pros. So right. I trained. Going to Jordan camp, I trained just because of the pickup games at night. So I'm like, I want to be top tip. I'm in shape. So I'm training for Jordan camp. So when I went there, you got all these names, and Jordan picked me on his team. So it was 5 plus me as the sub versus 15 players. So when they subbed me in, I'm on 1,000. Hey, I'm on 1,000. B, you know I don't care about no passing. I don't care who you are.
You really don't.
Look, I'm looking them off and everything.
Looking Mike off?
Looking.
Hold on. You at Jordan camp looking Michael Jordan off.
Looking him up. Well, he couldn't sub me out. Shit, that nigga tired back there, so he couldn't sub me. So I'm in there. I shot our first 15 possession. I shot 8 of them. I was 7 for 8. He wasn't saying nothing because I was scoring. So I had 30 that night, right? So that was the first night I had 30. So I got the Damon Wayne kids. So I got Damon Jr., Michael, and then I got the Master P's kids. So I got Little Romeo and all of them. When I start cooking next game, I need y'all to say Jordan sucks, Gilbert's better.
What?
Yeah. So I said, listen, I need y'all when I start cooking, I need y'all to start to chin up, right?
Hey, man, you are seriously crazy. Something's wrong with you, man. Something's not right with you in the head, man.
But look, the funny part is, Damon Wayne's kids, Damon Jr., Michael, they were tyrants. They were worse than me. So they didn't want to be there. They didn't want to ever be they wasn't basketball players. So they had to run every morning because something happened that night, which they never ran. They just walked it. So they was worse than me.
That's hard. That's hard to do.
So they was on board. Like, what I get to say? I get to say Jordan sucks? What? So soon as I scored my first bucket, bruh, all you heard, Jordan sucks, Gilbert's better. So that got me hyped. So I ended up hitting a 40-piece. Right? So at the end of our first week, Jordan asked me, yo, you going to Arizona? I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go there. They're gonna redshirt me this year, and then I'm gonna do the Jason Terry, road. He was like, nah, you good. I'm gonna go ahead and give him a call. So Jordan calls and say, yo, because Ruben Douglas was there too.
So Jordan called Lute Olson?
Yeah. And said that you have a diamond in the rough. I'm pretty sure you're not gonna redshirt him this year. So just with that confidence gave me when I went into Arizona, I'm not even gonna lie to y'all, I didn't go to class. Nah, I was already on another mission. I didn't go to no class. The first week, we had to run 5 miles a day because I wouldn't go to class. So that was punishment.
So basically what you're saying is Arizona back then is the same way it is right now.
No. Back then they were a little strict. They were a little strict, but because I was bucking the system, we don't go to class 5 miles. Okay, we ran 5 miles. When I finished my 5 miles, I went, trained, or went to sleep. I missed school again, 5 miles. So we ran 5 miles for a week. I didn't care. I'm in prime shape. The only thing I couldn't do is come in second place so they could talk trash. So the fact that I'm making a run and I'm in first place, you couldn't tell me nothing. So what ends up happening is Lute Olson was like, I see we got a special team here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do 10 games. We're gonna do 10 games, 10 scrimmages, and you guys pick your team and stay with your team. So my team ended up being me, Luke Walton, Jason Gardner, Justin Wessel, Ricky Anderson. I had no shooters. I had no one that – so Michael Wright, Lauren Woods, Ruben Douglas, Richard Jefferson, they were all on the same team. So I'm the only one that was scoring on my team. So I stood out.
Right.
So what ends up happening is we play our red and blue game. I'm leading the team in scoring 35. And then coach, there was no thinking about starting. Coach all right, the best 5 is starting for our first what's-the-name game. So I start our first what's-the-name game, had 25 against them. Next thing I know, dude transferred.
And the rest is history.
So I went, and then, I was chasing your mans too.
Who's my man? Who's my man?
Forte.
Oh, Joe?
Hey, I had Forte on the what's-the-name right here. Because you got to remember,
Joe was cold. Joe was cold.
So I didn't know anybody. So all I seen was I won New York. So it was the NIT MVP, and he won Hawaii.
Yep.
He won the Maui.
Yeah, he was the Maui Classic MVP. We won the Classic, yeah.
Yeah, so he was like, they were like, because we beat Kentucky. I don't know who y'all played, but it was like the Diaper Dandies, and it was like, Gilbert Arenas, Joe Forte. Joe Forte? Who the hell is some Joe Forte? Let me write that. Oh, he's a freshman too? Oh, he getting more pub than me. So I'm hot. Oh, I'm hot at Joseph Forte. Because now our trainer started using him as motivation.
Oh, so he's out there like, no matter what you do, you ain't as good as Joe Forte.
Joe Forte. Oh yeah, our trainer was a girl. She was Olympian. So so her name is Carla. So she's sitting there with I guarantee you Joe Forte ain't taking a day off. That's why he go, so I'm being pushed.
Master motivator.
So I'm just getting better and better. So I end up leading. I was second in scoring, like 0.2 behind Michael Wright. So what ends up happening is going into our second year, Lute Olson was like, I want to sit down with you, and I don't expect you to be here after this year. I'm like, huh? Like I'm thinking you about to get me out of here.
So you weren't thinking about the NBA?
No, I didn't know.
So even after Jordan stamped you and you had a good freshman year, you weren't thinking about leaving your sophomore year. You were still thinking you were going to have to go 3 to 4 years.
Yeah, because when I left my senior year, I was ranked 100, which was a big deal for me. 100? You got to remember, 100 is the last one. So I finally see my name on a national board. 100. So look, hey, if you would, you know how I'm a thinker. So I'm like, all right, 100. There's 54 people in the draft. So so some of them gonna leave. All right, then boom. So by the time my senior year, I could be like 20. So I'm over here doing the calculations. So when I'm having a meeting with him and he was like, yeah, I don't expect you to be here. I'm thinking that he's getting rid of me because, I'm a tyrant.
Right.
And then he was like, yeah, you're better than Mike Bibby. You're better than Mike Bibby was. So he said was. So I'm like, oh, you mean, as a freshman? He's like, no. What I meant is you're better than Mike Bibby is right now as an NBA player. So I don't expect you to stay after your sophomore year. So, we lose to Duke. I go home to brag about my new whip I just got. And then when I got back, I look in the paper, four of the team left. Michael Wright left, Lauren Woods entered the draft, Richard entered the draft, and Jason entered the draft. So I was like, I called Lute Olson. He was in Santa Fe. And I was like, everyone entered the draft. I don't want to be here by myself. He said, trust me, you're the only one who's probably prepared right now to go to the draft.
That's dope. That's dope. That's dope that Lute said that, especially because so many college coaches, they want the players to stay for the benefit of the school. The fact that Lute Olson was willing to tell you that you need to go, I think that just shows how special Lute Olson was. And then also, when I take out that story, Michael Jordan stamped you, and that's what kept you from being redshirted. That's a story I never heard before. As much as you've told stories, I've never heard that story before. But that's key, man. That's key to your development and who you are today.
Yeah, he did throw a negative in there, but the positive was you won't be read. The negative was you reminded me when he's like, yeah, when he said you reminded me of one of the players on my team. And I'm like, oh shit, yeah, Scottie Pippen, right? or maybe himself, because I'm killing. And then he hit me with the Randy Brown. So yeah. So so that was our conversation. So but what it did was when he basically said that I wouldn't be redshirting as a freshman, that I'm a player. It kind of gave when you go into college, you have doubt sometimes,
right?
You have a little doubt because it's that next level, So he took away the doubt and then made me just really focused and try to really go at this thing. If I'm going to be a fifth-year player, let me start my grind now. Maybe I can be a fourth-year player.
Right. Gil, let me ask you this, man. I remember back, we play pickup every day at UCLA, And a lot of people don't know. A lot of these new kids, they don't like to play pickup ball or they don't like to hoop. And Gil, you would show up every day. And it's funny, for as much flack as you get for being this wild guy, you would always pull the young guys to the side. I remember you would always give me a piece of advice. You'll always take time out of your day to say, man, you jump high, you run, you dunk everything, you can do this, this, and this. You would always do that. Was there a mentor in your life or someone who stood out that just always gave you that type of confidence into where you feel like you need to give back? Because I don't care, like at the peak of your performance, you would always give back to the young guys, and you're still doing it, as Brendan brought out earlier. Who gave that to you, and where do you get it from?
So, it was Mitchell Butler.
Mitch, I remember cool Mitchell Butler, man.
Now, so with Mitch, this is how this one started. UCLA. So I was going up there my sophomore, junior, and senior year, right? I go up there in the summer. That's where the ball was. So I go up there. My whole sophomore year, no one picked me. No. Now, I just sat there day in and day out. No one picked me. My junior year, no one picked me, right? Going into my junior year.
Who was playing then?
Going into my senior year,
Who was playing then?
Who
was
Magic
the players?
was playing. Magic was still playing. Jerron Rush.
So this is when you were in high school? This is when you was in high school or something?
Yeah, this is my senior year in high school. So you got Baron Davis, Paul Pierce, Rayford Alston.
Yeah.
You got all those guys. So you got so everyone was still playing. So what ended up happening is I'm there early, and they're trying to hurry up and get everyone trying to get that first game started so they can. So there was only 9 players, right? So Mitchell Butler was like, "Hey, young fella, can you go a little bit?" And I was like, "Yeah, I can shoot." And he was like, "All right, look, so we can start this game. I'm gonna pick you up, until my players come." I was like, "Cool." So he was like, "Listen, take it easy. Don't be afraid of nobody. Basketball is basketball. Don't think about the names. Just think about who. That's about 10 foot." So little did he know, in my mind, who is this dude? Who is this? Who? Little does he? I ain't passing you the ball, bro. I don't even know who you are. So we start the game off. I take the first 5 shots.
Did you hit him?
What? Rayford didn't know what I was. He didn't know who I was. So I'm going, Rayford. I mean, he was shaking the shit out of me a little bit, but he could not stop me on that end. So I remember Paul Pierce was like, hey, young fella, hey, we don't do all that over here. Pass the ball. But I'm scoring. You can't stop me. What are you talking about? It's like, listen. I don't know who you are, what you're doing. We here. There's a reason we here, and you've been sitting over there. So now I'm hurt. Because I've been sitting there for 2 years. That means you seen me sit there. You seen me sit there. You purposely didn't pick me. So all I can go off of is what you average in high school, though. You, 20-something, right? Said I'm averaging 38. So obviously, in high school, I was better than you.
Oh, you told that to Paul Pierce?
What?
It was the only thing I can say at that moment in time. He just.
So you tell that to Paul Pierce. You don't know who Mitchell Butler is, who for guys that they played at UCLA, played in the NBA for a while. So hold on, how does Mitchell Butler become your mentor though? Because
the prep talk he gave me at the beginning. I was listening. Listen, I was listening. Take it easy. Don't worry about who these people are. Don't worry about the names. Exactly. Nobody's going to worry about these names. I averaged 38, so obviously I must be nice. So what ends up happening is when the players did come, he kept me. So he actually, all the players, the Toby Baileys and all of them came in. And, when they were like, hey, and he was like, no, I'm going to keep my team. So it's like, oh, he's rocking with me. And then every day after that, he kept picking me, giving me little gems and, here and there. And then, that kind of really helped me. That's why, like, remember the couple years when he was with us. That's why I was always vouching for him. Like, hey, Mitch gotta, get the man one more year.
Yeah, man. Mitch was a good leader behind the scenes, man. Mitchell Butler was a really good leader behind the scenes. And speaking of leadership behind the scenes, on that team was another leader. I think you guys are almost more like brothers, Larry Hughes. Like, I think one of the biggest mistakes that the Wizards made was that they let Larry Hughes walk, because they didn't realize that Larry Hughes, he spoke confidence to – it was like Larry Hughes had this weird ability because he could speak to you and calm you down, and no one else could do that. He could come speak to me when me and Eddie Jordan were beefing. Then he could go talk to Eddie. Then he could go talk to Jared Jeffries. He even had he was the only person that could go speak to brother man himself, Eton. Like no one could reach Eton except for him. So when you speak about how Larry Hughes was the leader and you guys were brothers, how did that relationship cultivate? Because everybody thought you were the leader on the team. You are our best player. But I think even you would admit that Larry was the leader, and you guys had a bond that was incredible on and off the court.
So our relationship started when we were in Golden State. So when I went to for my workout, he was actually, there. He was working out. So I spoke to him, and he was like, yeah, enjoy the process. Enjoy the process. Go out there, work hard. So I go out there, do my little thing. So when I get drafted, he's really the only person I know outside of Jason Richardson and Troy Murphy. And then, I knew Chris Mills, obviously, from LA. But, Larry was the only one, like, from that team that I really, talked to. So I was already close with him. So during my rookie year, I ended up being the babysitter for him. So
what do you mean the babysitter?
So when him and wifey had date night, I was babysitting the kids.
Whoa. You were an NBA player,
Gilbert
and you were babysitting a teammate's kids.
Yeah.
Time out. First of all, why did they let you, of all people, watch their kids?
Because it was Larry. So Larry already,
Oh, hell no. I'm about to call CPS, man. Ain't no damn way in the world I'm letting you watch my kids. Gil, I just had my daughter. She's 4 weeks old. You are the last person I'm calling to watch my daughter if me and my wife got date night.
No, it was date night. So Rook watched the kids. So, so I was his rookie. Back then rookies was different. So depending on what kind of veteran you had, depending on, I had to bring the car around, like if he wanted something from the store, I had to go to late night to the stores, babysit the kids on date night, so, wow. that was my role. So, and, I don't think I babysitted Jason Tatum, but, him and his dad, Larry and Jason was.
Oh yeah, Jason Tatum used to be at our games all the time.
Yeah.
Like so, when he first got to Duke, I was like, yo, where I know that kid from? My boy's like, he used to be in the players' lounge all the time. That Larry's his godfather.
Yeah, so I was the big babysitter. So I remember when it was game 42, I can remember game 41, he got hurt, right? And my prediction when I got drafted, being ignorant, I was like, I just got drafted 31, and I was like, I don't care about that number. I'm gonna be starting by the middle of the season. I don't even care. It hung up. That was my interview when I got drafted. So game 41, they write a big article laughing at me. He gets hurt. He hurts his ankle. So game 42, Bobby Sura didn't want to start. He's like, I'm right now, I'm comfortable with my roles. Just start the rookie, and then, after a couple minutes, put me in. So I'm starting. What ends up happening is I catch my stride. So double here, gave Jason Kidd 14, gave this person 13, hit your man Jeff McGinnis for 31. Right?
J-Mac.
Yeah, gave him. So by the time Larry came back, I was rookie of the month. So what ended up happening is they started him. He had like 13. I had 18 off the bench. They put me back as the starter and then officially made him the backup shooting guard.
Who, Larry?
So, yeah.
Oh,
so they
okay.
ended up making Larry the backup shooting guard. But me talking to Larry and knowing Larry, that's where Larry wanted to be a shooting guard. He didn't want to be the point guard. Because back then,
point guards don't play the way they do now.
Yeah.
Facts.
So that move actually messed up the negotiation that he was negotiating for his new contract. You know, he was asking for like Ray Allen, $66 million. So they used that against him and said, we're going to go with the young boy. So I remember when he left.
That's when he came to DC.
I
played with Larry for 1 year before you got there.
Yeah, so I thought he was like going to be mad at me. So like I was scared to call him at the end of the season. Like, listen, this business, I'm just going to have to, play, because it was a 3. He had, signed a little 3-year. It was 3-year 15 he signed. And he was like, don't even worry about it. Just remember what they did. So always, think about, your move before theirs. So I was like, he gave me all his clothes. It was like Jabbar jeans, these big old jeans, big old shirt.
Hey, that was fly back. Hey, Baggy was fly back in the day. 4XL T-shirts.
Yeah, so he gave it to me so I didn't have to spend money on clothes. So that's how you guys became tight. He didn't hold it against you that you essentially took his position. And then on top of that, he continued to look out for you. Yeah. So when my free agency was up, right? So I'm negotiating with everybody. So I go to Washington. Washington has about $55 million at the time. They're waiting for the salary cap to go up, and then Brian Russell to opt out of his contract. So B. Russ opted out of his contract and shot to the Lakers for that championship run. Because I guess that's when Carmelo and all of them.
Okay.
Right? So they got $64 million. So the first person I called was Larry. Hey, they just offered me 64. But I'm not going to come if, we're going for the same, we're at the same period. He's like, no. I'm the shooting guard. So come on, bring your ass over here. That was one of the reasons I came, because, he okayed that move. So,
that's big time right there, because not a lot of people do. And like I said, that's something I didn't even realize that went on behind the scenes. I just never knew. I was just like, yo, when you would go off on a tangent, I was like, that's the only dude that could bring you back. Like that. And next thing you know, he would say something real simple, and you'd be back to acting normal again. So now I'm glad I'm getting a chance to interview you, because now I understand where it came from. Because all these years I was like, man, no one can calm this dude down except for Larry.
And the part that hurt the most when he left was all the signs, before Abe Poland, went through his surgery, signed back Larry Hughes. So we already, sign him back, we good. And so when they didn't sign him, and my first question, like, what happened? And they told me this. They said, listen, we didn't want to piss you off. I said, wait, what? They thought I was going to be offended that they paid, he was asking for, I think 79. I think it was like 79 something million at the time. And they was like, because you signed for 64, we didn't think his contract should have been worth more than yours. And I'm sitting here like, well, when I signed my contract, I was a second-year player. I said, first of all, technically, he is the all-star here. I wasn't the all-star. He was the all-star. The only reason I became the all-star is because he got hurt with the thumb injury. So when he got hurt with the thumb injury, my scoring went up. But before that, it was him and Antoine, and I was technically the third man at that point. He gets hurt, and then I boost up and take on that extra scoring role and start averaging 25. But it wasn't, but if they would have stopped the season right there, he was the all-star. So the fact that you guys are using that as why you didn't want to pay him is dumb.
Yeah, and listen, happens all the time. There's a lot of disconnect between front offices and the players, and sometimes what they think the players want as opposed to what they really want and what can really happen. And so I'm glad, like I said, I'm actually learning a lot in this interview process, because the fact they didn't realize that you guys were brothers, and they thought that Larry getting paid more would offend you was crazy. I'm gonna let Ryan jump in though. Ryan, you got another question?
Yeah, absolutely. Gil, take me behind the scenes, man, of your first, and you gave me a little bit, you gave McGinnis 31, but your first wild game, first 50 ball, first 60 ball. I'm already thinking about the game winner when you shot that thing and turned around and watched
Gil, give him the Utah game. Gil,
hold on.
Give him the Utah game.
Nah, you gotta remember.
Like, hold on, I gotta hear it like from shoot around, bro. Like your mindset going into shoot around, because you always have some weird, quirky way of firing yourself up.
See, the funny part is Antoine used to joke about me, well, because I never hit the 50 club. So I never hit the 50 club. Like I always got close and never hit, it never quite got there.
It just never really.
It
just never really
turned on. Like I remember when I almost got there, it was like I got 46. I had 46 in 3 quarters. And then Eddie never played me no more. I was so hot.
I remember that game. That was against San Antonio. You lit Tony Parker up 46 46 and 3 quarters.
I was so hot. So what ends up happening is we play the Lakers. And I scored a 60, right? So I went from 40, missed 50, straight to 60, right? So I'm you couldn't tell me nothing after that. Like if you talking about if I was cocky before the 60 point, I was talking to girls different. Talk to my dad. I hung up on my dad. Oh, you can't what? What? Say what? Click. Hey, I remember he came to the house and I hit him with the hey, don't open my damn refrigerator door like that.
Come on, man. You can't talk to your pops like that, man. You being disrespectful, man.
After I hit 60, you couldn't tell B Wood. You couldn't tell me nothing, B Wood.
Bruh.
You couldn't tell me nothing, B. Hey, so I hit the 60 and Andron hits me with it. Well, see, you still ain't in the 50 club. Then we go to Phoenix. Phoenix was probably the better 50 club because in the summer, that summer before, when I got snubbed from the USA team.
You told D'Antoni what you was going to do.
And I told D'Antoni, I'm going to score 50 on y'all. So while we're in the layup line, right, he hits me with, because you got to remember, B-Wood, they were on a 15-game winning streak.
Right.
So they were the hottest team in the league. So he tells me before the game.
D'Antoni? D'Antoni?
Yeah, D'Antoni, you're going to need more.
Talking about the Suns.
Yeah, the Suns. You're going to need more than 50 to beat us. And I said, I'm planning on it, right? I'm planning on it. So as soon as the game starts, I'm just attacking Nash. And those first couple buckets go in, like, okay. So once all the elements hit, it's just like, oh, this is the game. This is one of those games where, like, you can feel it from the beginning. Like, I already pre-planned it. I already said I was going to do it. He hit me with the you gonna need to score more. And then Bill Walton said, hey, I know what's on the line. You do decent. I'm gonna make you look good. Like, okay. So I got so once I start going, and then with my teammates, they gonna keep me going. It was
that's how our team was. Like if somebody got hot, we was gonna put the battery in your back. Because we played around. So like that team was so fun. Like I had more success winning in Dallas, but I promise you I had more fun in DC. Like our team was so fun. The guys' mentalities, we had guys all over the place. Now we were undisciplined, but we had a lot of fun. But I still want to get back to your mentality because you were one of the few guys that when clutch moments come, and it's big time games, you're never really serious. Like some guys like Kevin Garnett has this razor focus and he's foaming at the mouth. Michael Jordan, he's just sitting there rocking, just waiting for his time. Like LeBron, he's looking all around. You're laughing and joking. Like the famous shot that you hit against Utah, do you remember what you were doing in the huddle?
No.
I don't know if you remember. Eddie Jordan calls the play. Now, you know Eddie Jordan don't have no plays. So all he called was 1-4 flat. I'm like, thanks, Ed. I'm like, hell, I could have called that. So he calls 1-4 flat. You turn around. This is your mindset. Remember, we were up on Utah. They came back and got the lead. They came back and got the lead. We're down 2. You're laughing in the huddle. You said, oh, yeah, y'all know what time it is. Give me the ball and get the hell out the way. And y'all know I don't do overtime. Woo! And walked out to the court. I said, hey, man, this dude is crazy. We're about to lose. Hey, like, that, the game is on the line. Everybody in the stands is, like, scared. And that is what you said in the huddle. Give me the ball. Y'all know what I'm about to do. And I don't do overtime. And then you really, like, I got Ric Flair on my shirt. You hit him with the Ric Flair. Woo! And walked out to the court.
Hey, you know.
Like, how do you get that mindset to where even though everybody else is nervous, not only are you calm, you're having a blast. You're laughing.
Because my personality is always like the jokester. So, you know, I remember trying, it was my second year in the league. I tried that serious mentality. And it just seemed like it went wrong every single time. Like every shot was more important. So every shot I missed, I harped on it. You know, if I didn't get the foul, you know, I'm getting technical. So I led the league. I was behind Rasheed Wallace my second year in technical fouls. Because that was the first time I was serious and realized that's not my style. My style is more laughter. Like, have fun busting your ass while you're serious. You know, while you're taking the game, I'm going to be upbeat because that's the way I play. You know what I mean? And like, my style was more like, I'm upbeat. I ain't going to miss it. You can't guard me. So it was more of that cocky, confident style more than that angry, I need to take a serious style. Like, I don't know if I ever told this story about the Bulls. Remember the game when I hit against the Bulls?
Dog, we talked about this.
Yeah.
We talked about this because what most people don't realize is the game-winning shot against the Bulls over Kirk Hinrich, the play was not for Gil.
No.
The play and the play was Brian. The play was for Larry Hughes. Gil was supposed to catch the ball. I was supposed to set a pin down on the weak side. So Gil was supposed to make everybody look at him. On the weak side, we're running a pin down. Larry's supposed to come off and get the shot.
Mm-hmm.
The play works perfectly.
Yes.
Everybody's looking at Gil. I set the pin down. Larry is butt naked, wide open, like this right here. And after the game, everybody's talking about the shot because Gil hits the shot. I'm the only one that realized that Larry was wide open. And I walked up to Gil and I was like, Gil, did you know that Larry was supposed to get the ball? Your answer was classic. What did you say?
Look, I wasn't paying attention to the play. So,
that's exactly what he said, Ryan. He said, hey, dog. I said, did you realize that Larry was open and was supposed to get the ball? Gil said, I wasn't even paying attention. He said, as soon as Eddie told me when I got the ball, I just phased out.
I just phased out. It was like, all right, AP, pass Gilbert the ball. All I heard was pass Gilbert the ball. And then from there, all I'm doing is just looking at the spot. Just like I'm just visualizing. So he's drawing and doing all of this. Because I remember we were up. Damn near half the crowd was gone. And then by that timeout was over with, everyone was in the arena. So I'm just visualizing. So while Eddie's drawing, I wasn't paying attention. I remember I just got out of the huddle and said, hey, just give me the ball. And he looked at me with the dumb face because I the play was give Gilbert the ball and then Gilbert, you do this. So me saying, give me the ball, he looked at me like, duh. Duh.
Only like your blind confidence is incredible. Because I know you remember because I talked to you. I was like, after the game, I was like, do you realize Larry was supposed to get the ball and he was wide open? And you took a shot. You took a shot over Tyson Chandler and Kirk Hinrich.
Because he had he was balling again. He had like 33 that game, and I was 3 for 16 because that was the third shot I made. So I was at that point 2 for 15 at the time.
That's the confidence that I'm talking about. You have this crazy confidence to believe in yourself no matter what. And it seems like from what you're telling me, it's always been like that.
Yeah, I mean, ever since I was, young, it was, just hitting shots. Like I can hyper focus that last 30 seconds. It's like everything slowed, like as fast as I was always moving. In those moments, the game slowed down. Like I remember, it wasn't funny then, but it's like the meme now when LeBron tapped me on the shoulder. That was the only moment in my career where I felt out of body. Because even when I shot my confidence, even when I shot the free throw, I was like, what the fuck was that? Like, what was that? So, and then when I shot the other one, the same thing is like, I didn't shoot that. That wasn't me. You know, it was just one of those things. Like, I remember telling myself, like I was more mad that, what was that? Like, I'm looking like that wasn't, like, those two shots felt weird. Because, I mean, I was balling that game. Oh, yeah. You know, I just got us to overtime. I mean, I didn't make no shots in overtime. I missed the 4 shots I made, but I missed those 4. But,
so hold on. What did LeBron say to you? Because a lot of people don't know. What did LeBron say to you? Because you're normally the jokester. You're normally the guy talking to everybody else. And out of nowhere, LeBron don't really talk. He comes up and says something to you.
He said, if you miss these, you know who's going to make it, and it's going to be game over. Yeah.
And that messed you up.
It messed me up because I knew what he was talking about, and there was no way he was going to get put in the game to even get a shot up. Damon Jones. I made sure Damon Jones, because, we used to gamble at night during the series. So, we used to, he owed me money. So I used to run in the locker room and say, the landlord is here. I'm looking for the paycheck. So the landlord is here. So that was like our little running thing. So what ends up happening is every time he got in the game, it was 1-4 flat. I just picked on him. So he didn't really play that much that series, like game 4 and 5. So when I missed those 2 free throws, and then I see him take his warm-up ball, like, hell no. He ain't going to pass it to him. And sure enough, LeBron passes the ball to Damon Jones for Damon Jones to hit a corner shot.
Yeah, man, that was a tough pill to swallow. We had some great playoff series. Yeah, we had some great playoff series against the Cleveland Cavaliers. Very entertaining, man. Have you been watching? I'm gonna tie this into the Last Dance documentary. Have you been watching it at all?
I've been watching a little bit of it.
I watched
the first two episodes. Like, I'm one of those that like to watch it all at one time.
Right. Yep.
So I watched the first 2 episodes, and I'm like, I'm gonna wait till it's over so I can just binge watch them all.
Did you see the part where Scottie Pippen said that he wouldn't do anything different as far as the situation where he didn't go in the game against Tony Kukoc? He said he wouldn't do anything different. And that to me is a little weird because you would think at this point he would. With everything that happened in D.C., is there one thing that you would be like, you know what, I would do different? I would do this differently.
Yeah.
I know something that I wish you would have done differently, but I'm going to see what you pick.
I would have I would have took my jersey off, put my clothes on, and walked the fuck out the arena. Like I said,
swear that's the one I was talking about. That's what I was talking about.
I said I was. God damn it!
Hey, whoa! I wanted to see if you're going to pick that story. Take us through the story.
Yeah, I gotta get this
because this is the night that Gilbert Arenas hurts his knee, and Gil came back, but he still wasn't the same player after he hurt his knee. But everything happened a lot before that. Walk us through how you almost avoided this injury completely.
Okay, so this story starts with B. Wood. So this story started from training camp where, he wins the starting position in training camp. I remember when Eddie was like, oh yeah, he beat him at this, he beat him at that, but I'm going to start him anyway because he played the last 4 games, we're talking about Eton. So it started there, right, with the Eton and Brendan situation. Eton, Michael Ruffin end up getting hurt that year. So it's only like 7, 8 of us.
Kwame. It's Kwame. Eton and Kwame get hurt.
So we balling. Nah. Kwame wasn't with us.
He wasn't?
Okay. No,
Okay.
this is Michael Ruffin. We had this Michael Ruffin was the backup. We had
Yeah, that's why Kwame wasn't with us. He was hurt.
gosh. We had
Who?
Napoleon Dynamite. Calvin Booth. Calvin Booth.
Oh,
was
Calvin Booth. Hey, stop
OJ.
calling him Napoleon Dynamite.
Yeah, gosh.
Stop that.
So look, so what ends up happening is they're not playing right now. So it's like 7, 8 of us. And we running, we balling, right? So we're balling. Eddie Jordan makes coach of the All-Star game. You know, so what happens is everyone starts coming back after All-Star. So after All-Stars, when you're supposed to be prepping, getting ready for playoffs. Not us. Not our team. We still want to play mind games. So Eddie Jordan decides he wants to start playing mind games with Brendan. So it started in Milwaukee, where did you play in Milwaukee?
Yeah, one of them games I just didn't even play.
Yeah, I think it was Milwaukee, and Calvin Booth had like 10 rebounds or 10 points or something, right? And then he didn't play Brendan. So you got to remember, Brendan's our starting center. So he's trying to put everybody in but Brendan. So then we have Charlotte on the back-to-back.
Charlotte, home and home with Charlotte.
Yeah, home and home with Charlotte. They beat our ass there. But I said something smart to Eddie Jordan in Charlotte about the lineup. Why are we still messing with our lineup, you know, when we should be getting ready? It's 10 games, it's 11 games, or at this point, 10 games left before playoffs. So, you know, why we still mess? Well, you just play, let me coach. Well, shit, I can play if you coach, you know. So that was the first time I challenged him, right? So we're on a back-to-back. So we have this 5 o'clock shoot-around, right? Usually on back-to-backs, I came about 5:30. Antonio Daniels always went in for me. Some told me to get there early. So I got there. I'm there at 5 o'clock. I got my clothes still on. So I'm sitting there watching the same shoot-around, laughing because we still doing the same pick-and-roll defense that
Hold on. You're missing one key part of this story. You always came to shoot-arounds purposely late because you had the phobia. Because remember, you had the 46 points against the Spurs. You were late. So from that point on, anytime we had a back-to-back with a shoot-around, Gil would purposely come late. You could literally see Gil's car circling the building as he was just going to be late. So everybody knows that, okay, that's his thing. Whenever we have a back-to-back, Gil's going to be 1 to 2 minutes late because that's his phobia. That's his thing. Yeah. So Gil walks in like 1 minute late. We all knew he was going to be late anyway. And then Eddie, what happens after that?
So we go through the what's the name. So we go through all our little things, boom, boom, boom. So he gives the pregame speech, doing all that. So there's nothing on the board of matchups, right? So, you know, I'm putting my left shoe on first and my right shoe, put my socks out, doing everything good. And then Deshaun says, hey, are we doing the lineup that you said before Gilbert got here? What you talking about? So, what you mean lineup before I got here? I got here as soon as everybody started, so I ain't hear no new lineup. So I guess he had a meeting with Antonio Daniels and Deshaun that I wasn't going to start because I was going to be late. So he was punishing me.
Now, mind you, he had let him be late all year.
The whole year.
All year. 3 years. 3 years. 3 years, this is my routine. So what ends up happening is oh, hell no. I'm not playing these games, bro. I'm not playing it. So I start taking my shit off. Like, hey, y'all want to play these little mind games? Thinking I'm Brendan Haywood? Nah, brother, I'm going home. Nah, Brendan can play these games. I'm not playing these games with y'all. So I started taking my shit off.
Right? Ryan.
And then that's when
Ryan, I've never seen anything like it. As we're walking out to go onto the court to warm up, Gil is taking his whole uniform off and it's his towel on, and he's walking to the shower. He is showering and getting ready to leave and go home.
You're walking to the court.
We're all walking out to go to the court. Gil is walking to the shower. He is having a one-man boycott. He's not playing tonight.
We're supposed to be getting ready for playoff. You pissed off because I said that the night before. Now you want to try to punish me today. So now you want to punish me and Brendan. Nah. Shower time. And then Karan Butler going to come back and say, man, this is about the team, man. You know, man, you got to play. Don't do this to us. This is about us. So I was like, all right, man, damn. You know, put the guilt trip, the team guilt trip, because I was gone. I always
wanted. Did Karan catch you at your locker, or were you in the parking garage?
At the locker.
At the locker.
When
okay.
I got out of the shower, yeah. So he called me when I got back out of the shower. So, you know, he convinces me to go back out there. 1 minute into the game, hit my knee.
That's the night he hurt his knee, because he was supposed to start, didn't start. Soon as he comes into the game, wild man Gerald Wallace crashes into the back of Gil's knee. But the untold story is it almost didn't happen because Gilbert, if Karan didn't go speak to him, was on his way home.
And this how wild they got after this. So guys got to remember, up until this point, I don't know what's going on. I know that he ain't starting me. Then Deshaun tells me that they had to sit down. And Eddie Jordan's like, yeah, we need to, I'm going to sub him out. We're going to start you because he's late, you know. And then during the playoffs, right? You remember I didn't go to the playoffs that year.
Right.
I boycotted the team playoffs because I heard this. And the backstory about it is because a reporter asked Eddie, are you coaching the team? Is it your plays, or is it just give the ball to Gilbert, go 1-4 flat? So is it him hitting shots, or is it your plays?
Hey.
So they put that into his mind. So he tells what's the name Deshaun them that I didn't need a guy out there trying to score. Oh, when I got hurt. So the day I got hurt in the locker room, he had the meeting with Deshaun and Antonio and said, I'm glad he got hurt. I don't need a guy out there trying to score 50 points anyway.
Oh wow, I never
that
part I never knew.
Oh yeah, you never heard, yeah. But that's what really had us buck. That's when I became standoffish. When he said that, he was like, I don't need a guy out there trying to score 50, 60 anyway.
It's crazy how things happen behind the scene. And you see like relationships deteriorate, and you just think a player's acting a certain way, and then you get the backstory and you realize, oh, there's a lot more to that. The craziest thing for me is I'm learning a lot of this stuff. I was there and I didn't even know that happened. So that's crazy. What you got next, Ryan?
Man, well, shoot. Speaking of bad relationships, I got a good one I got to hear about, man. You have taken Nick Young under your wing, so to speak, and you know when he was Nick Young, and then we saw him transform into Swaggy P. I gotta know, bro. For one, what was your relationship like? Obviously, he's a fellow Valley boy. I live out here in the Valley now, but what was that relationship like? How did it fester? And what was the greatest or worst, whatever, how you want to phrase it, prank that you played on Nick? And take me through the whole story, bro.
So with Nick, you know, I was there when he was coming through his workout. So I'm just seeing this raw talent. You know, at that point, you know, for the shooting guard position, you know, we had Deshaun, who was more of a defensive player and a spot-up shooter. So now we have a guy that reminded me of Larry Hughes that could actually just put buckets. So, like, oh, I got at the 1 and the 2, shit, we can, you know, he turns into something nice because I can see all the raw, natural talent he had. Put some work ethic into it. Man, this would be a nice little backcourt. So from there, I've been taking him under my wing. But the problem with that under my wing, at that point in my career, I'm hurt. I get hurt again. So I'm not the person I was when I was healthy, in the gym 24/7. Now it's hangout Gil. So now the hangout Gil is with Rook. Rook is hanging out with the hangout Gil instead of the determined, let's get better, let's prepare. So like if I'm going on the road, I don't have to play. I'm going to go to the club. Rook, you want to go with me? You know, so he became my sidekick in that sense, which was unfair to, you know, it was unfair to him at that moment because, you know, it's like going to 76ers when Allen Iverson was in his prime, but it was the club part of Allen Iverson, not the court part of Allen Iverson. You know, so, you know, with the young guys, they picked up more on my off the court behavior rather than my on the court behavior. So I kind of messed up a little group, the Andre Blige and, you know, JaVale
McGee and Nick Young. So basically you pretty much created Swaggy P from the jump based off the fact that you were Party Gilbert at that time.
Yeah, I was party hangout Gil at that point. You know, so, but where Swaggy was good was when I did play, I gave him the confidence. Like, you know, like, yo, hey, I'm looking for you, so come off, bust his ass. You know, he got against D-Wade. You know, D-Wade is D-Wade, so, you know, he's afraid of him. So, like, no, you going to hit him with the wop, wop, wop. So now he's having success. And I realized he was more of a, like the hyper type of scorer. Like, as long as it's going in, his confidence up. If he's going down, if he's missing, his mood is down. So it was a 50-50 player to me. You know, it was one of those guys, if the shots are going in, he's up. If it's going down, you know, so he was never here. So I was trying to find ways to always keep him above that 50-50 line. But also, he was like me too. He was prankster, you know, always wanted to be mischief. You know, you remember this was the Nick Young that when you eating, he gonna put his hand in your food.
Yeah, he only did that with y'all. He knew he did. He knew Nick might get his ass whooped right here doing that nonsense.
Yeah, so he'll do that. We'll be eating, and when he's finished eating, he'll lick his fingers, put his hand in the food, so you finish too. So that's what I was also dealing with. So I remember how the Golden State veterans dealt with the person, me, like that. I know how to deal with this. So I was just torturing them. I remember when we was having a paintball shootout, and they brought the BB gun to the locker room.
That's ridiculous.
They brought the BB gun to the locker room.
Ryan, nobody realizes, and we're not going to get into the guns in the locker room because you've told that story 10,000 times, but no one realizes before we had guns in our locker room, we had a real live BB gun fight where no one was suspended or fined or anything. It was the most ridiculous. Like, our team was so good, but we had so much dysfunction and so little discipline. We had a BB gun fight in a locker room full of millionaires where BBs can literally pop off the locker, hit somebody in the eye, and blind them. And we got a BB gun fight going on in the locker room.
Yeah, so I had a paintball. They had BB guns. So I guess they couldn't.
So you having paintball in the locker room makes it even better.
Yeah, it's paint. It's paint. So what happens is we're having a one of those NBA meetings about guns and weapons, right? So I just go into the locker and realize, oh, they left their BB gun here. And it's loaded. So I walks on into the meeting. Boop. Popped his ass right. What? Popped his ass right in the shoulder, bro. Bop. BB sticking in his shoulder.
This really happened.
You shot Nick Young with a BB gun in an NBA meeting?
Yes. Yeah. This Ryan, this really happened. I'm telling you, we were the most talented, dysfunctional team because we had talent, but we played too much. I told you I had the most fun in DC. Yeah, we were so dysfunctional that it was just wild. The stuff that was happening behind the scenes, come on, man. Hey, listen, we had BB gun fights. Me and Eton Thomas were having real fights. And listen, and because of this guy, I had to fight Eton 3 times because of this guy, because of Gilbert. Because of Gilbert.
Let's finish up Nick Young, and then let's get to this, so I got to hear this.
Okay, with the BB gun, but think about it. It's the NBA Players Association, right? Ex-sorry-ass NBA players who lost all their money trying to tell you what to do.
Hey, man,
That's
come on.
have
Some respect, man. Have some
Come on,
respect.
Gil.
Have some respect, man.
Come on, Gil.
Have some respect, man.
They didn't have no pull. They didn't have no pull. Let's just be honest. When you look at them and they're talking, they have no pull, okay? They got no clout at that moment. So look at them dead in their eyes, what they was going to do. What was they going to do?
That really happened. So that like I said, Gil did craft Swaggy P into being Swaggy P. From the very moment he got there, he was hanging out with Gil, and that's when he became who he was. And just the wildness of what they were doing together just got wilder and wilder. The BB gun fight was probably the wildest thing that those guys did. But throughout the course of the year, everything it was like a build-up. Like, what can we do that's more wild next? Like, they were tearing up hotel rooms and everything. So that is how Swaggy P became Swaggy P.
I remember. You remember Peter John Ramos?
Yep, I remember Peter John.
Peter.
So it was in training camp where I said I can body
Peter's
slam.
7'3", so y'all know. Peter is 7'3".
7'3", yeah.
Yeah, so I said I can body slam him because Drew just told me pound for pound I was probably one of the strongest on the team.
Yeah, Drew's our strength coach, yeah.
Pound for pound didn't really, in my mind, register as just for my size. I really thought I was just the strongest on the team. That pound for pound didn't work in my mind. It was just, you're the strongest on the team. So I decided I want to wrestle. So he body slammed. Ooh, boom. We wrestled every day. Single day until I won.
Every day. Every day.
It was one point where he damn near cracked my neck before game. And I'm sitting there like, yeah, boy, we're about to get it in today. and I couldn't, I had to put the icy hot thing over here just so I can move mine. But every single day we wrestled.
Yeah. So yeah, it was wild. So that is how Swaggy P became Swaggy P, because he had a very, very wild year with Gilbert Arenas.
Let me ask one more Swaggy question, man. I don't want to dig too far into this situation, but Swaggy got snitched on. He was going through stuff with his girl.
Oh, come on now.
And
where are you headed with this question?
Because of what Gilbert did. Gilbert, you go to his house. Just break this down. Break down the story and hop his fence. Give me the breakdown of this, because it was at the time he didn't want to talk to nobody. He didn't want to deal with nobody.
So Iggy left, took all the furniture and all that. So what ends up happening is I've been hitting him because I live down the street from him. So I live down the street from where he lives. So all I do is just drive, So I'm hitting him, he ain't answering. So, so when I pull up, I can see his cars is there. All right, cool. So I turn it on. Boop. Hop the fence, go in, and start recording. Right? And then I'm just recording everything. And then the spontaneous.
Why? Hold on. Why?
That's who I am. Come on, man. Listen, it's just one breakup. Let's get back on the horse. You Nick. You's a Laker. All right? I'm not gonna see you down. You over here miserable and stuff like that.
Man, listen, man. Yeah, that is wild. We're transitioning way out of that and getting back into basketball. When you watch the game today, and you see how the game is played, and you see how your game is, how do you think you would have fit into today's game? Because back when you were scoring 30 points and averaging 5 or 6 assists, they were acting like that was the worst thing in the world. You can't win playing like that. Now, that's what all the guards do. Kimba, Kyrie, Steph, all these guys go put up the big numbers. They don't get big assists anymore. Do you sometimes think man, I wish I was born a little bit later, because if I played in this era with Dame Lillard and those guys, I would be celebrated.
But you got to remember, there has to be someone that breaks the mold anyway. See, when
you feel like you were that someone?
I think so, because when Iverson came in, Iverson was a shooting guard. See, you got to remember, they offsetted Iverson with Eric Snow. So they made Iverson the shooting guard, Eric Snow the point, but Eric Snow guarded the 2 guards. With me, it was, me and Larry. So at that point, me and Larry was the 1 and 2. There was no, we were both the same position. So he averaged 4 assists. I averaged 5, 4 assists. So together, we averaged 10. You know, I didn't really become like a solo scorer until we got to Sean. You know, and then Sean was just the 2 defensive player. So back then, you know, our scoring points was Marbury and Steve Francis, which was 16, 22 at the most. So, you know, I was the first guard that was actually putting up 30 a game. Where I think it went and elevated was Steph Curry because he won a championship.
Right.
You know, once you win and you win doing something, everyone is like, it opens up that barrier. So me averaging 30, and you're like, okay, well, it wasn't too bad. More guards came in doing the same thing. You know, just, you know, the younger generation looks. You know, just like, you know, if there was a dominant big man in today's game, most of those big men would be trying to play back to the basket.
Yeah.
You know,
I totally agree. I don't think you get enough credit for that. You had like a 3-year run where you really changed the way people looked at basketball. I can honestly say I think you were truly the pioneer or one of the pioneers of the scoring point guard era that we're in now, because now everybody plays like you. No one plays like Jason Kidd anymore. Everybody plays like you, Steph, Dame. Like these kids, they don't come out here learning to pass the ball and try to get 10 assists and average 15 points. I'm not sure if that era is ever coming back.
You know, it's so fun. The era really wasn't ever here.
Well,
Like,
you know, you have Magic, Stockton, all those guys, Jason Kidd. For a while, the point guard position had to be where you came down, you set up the offense, you set your teammates up, and maybe you got yours if the ball got back around to you. But you were supposed to come off the pick and roll like Stockton and find Malone, and you know that's the thing about you. You didn't give a damn about that because you would come off the pick and roll. Like I would set the screen like Malone, but you damn sure wasn't passing that thing like Stockton.
No, because what's so funny is I did a research. I did a study on championships and the starting point guard on championship runs, and it came out to, if you took Magic Johnson out, it came out to 4.1 assists a game. The starting point guard on championships team came out to 4.1. The point guard wasn't a true factor as the guy who made decisions. So you got to remember, you got to think about all of Phil Jackson's teams.
Yeah. Well, no scoring point guards with Kobe and Shaq. No scoring point guard. No scoring point guards with the Bulls.
And then you got the Houston Rockets. You had Keem Olajuwon, Kenny Smith averaged 2 assists. Robert Horry led them in assists. Then you had the Miami teams. Jason Williams only averaged 4 or 5, and then Mario Chalmers won his. The 2 people that then when Rondo won, Rondo wasn't Rondo yet.
Yep.
You know, Rondo wasn't that Rondo yet. He only averaged 5 assists. So then you had Chauncey Billups, 4 or 5 assists that year. So the 2 point guards, pure point guards that won championships was Avery Johnson.
And Magic Johnson?
Nah, Jason Kidd when he was on that Dallas team.
Nah, Jason wasn't averaging a high amount of assists on that team.
He ended up averaging 8 that year.
Oh, he did? Okay.
But he wasn't a real factor because you had Barrera, Jason, you know, you had those guys coming, Jason Terry. So it was basically them 2 and then Steph, but Draymond Green led them in assists. So history showed that 10, 11 assist type of point guard wasn't going to win you championships, because if they're doing their job and their job is to make everyone better, that means the team ain't that damn good. See, if I got to go and make everyone, you know, open shots, that means there's nobody creating their own shots. That means I can't pass it down to him and he gets his own basket. That means I have to literally create every point that's given. Now you have the Blake Griffins. Chris Paul has to sit there and probe because he can't play back to the basket.
Right.
You know, so the fact that when the playoffs hit, if he can't post up, you're lost. You know, so I started doing that study. So I was like, man, I would never pick a point guard that averaged 10 assists, 11 assists. Because if he's doing all that, that means there's nobody else that on the team that can just create their own baskets.
Facts. Let me throw this to you, Gil. When I competed against LeBron in the Eastern Conference playoffs, our mindset going in was LeBron was soft. If we got to a big moment, he wasn't going to show up. And we were going to push the game
boy, was y'all wrong.
and we're gonna push it to a game 7. And I mean, KG was calling him every name in the book, talking about his mom, wife, whatever. We just knew we were gonna figure it out, and we were the tougher-minded team. It was gonna prevail. When you guys played against LeBron, or you watched him, you had the time to watch him kind of come in the league. What was your mindset of LeBron? And was there a play that changed it? Obviously, he knocked us out the playoffs. He has that game 6 where he, in our mind in Boston, where he becomes the king. Is there a game that stood out to you or memories that you have of LeBron?
See, when it came to LeBron, we were the better team. You know, we had more scores. We were just better all around. They had a mismatch that we didn't figure out. And the mismatch was this. Going back to Brennan again. See, when it came to height, with our starting unit, he played decoy. So that year, it was Larry and him. They didn't drive when Brennan was in. See, what happened was when they took Gauskas out, we took Brendan out. But what we put in, 6'8", 6'8.5", we'll put in Michael Ruffin, and then from there, LeBron and Larry went on attack mode. And then at the 4, they had Drew Gooden. So we were outmatched due to their small wasn't small. Our small was small. Even though we had Jared Jeffries, but Jared had to guard LeBron. Now you got Antoine on Drew Gooden, where that was a matchup problem for Antoine, but now we have no one protecting the back end. So what ended up happening is, in the fourth quarter, if you look at every game LeBron hit the game-winning layup or the crab dribble bump, it was never on Brendan. Brendan was never in the game during those moments. It was always Michael Ruffin. And that was a problem. I thought that they just outsmarted us. We can say we got out-coached that series. And then the second and third year, I was already hurt. So, they were playing against, LeBron them, without me. And from there, he was just getting smarter. We tried everything, like make him a scorer. He still passed the ball. We're going to make him use his players. He did use his players. And that's the only thing that separates, LeBron from, Michael Jordan and Kobe. Like, we want him to be the same thing. We want him to be the killer, the mindset that wants to take the game-winning shot, the game-winning bucket. His mindset is, I'm going to get the best possession. I'm going to make the right play. I'm not like when Jordan said, I missed 1,000 shots in my time. He's not willing to miss 1,000 shots, for a win. He's not going to jeopardize the ego for a loss. So if he sees, Eric Snow wide open at the mid-range and the game is on the line, he's going to make that pass. And I don't think
maybe not the Eric Snow.
Not the Eric Snow, but
yeah.
Shit. But I mean,
Damon
if he's
Jones.
wide, but that's why he like Damon Jones. He'd do
Daniel Marshall. Yeah.
That's why he makes those plays. So when you guys play him and you're trying to get into his head, he ain't gonna step up for the big moment. You're targeting the wrong person because the person he's looking for is in the zone. You know what I mean? That like with Kyrie. No matter how much you go at LeBron, Kyrie is the guy the last 4 minutes. So if you didn't disrupt Kyrie, they have a chance to win still.
Yeah, I think it's very interesting that you said that the fact that everybody tries to compare Kobe, Mike, LeBron, you can't compare them because LeBron plays the game totally different. Like Kobe
Totally
wants
different.
to be
Right.
exactly like Mike. Mike obviously was the best scorer ever, and LeBron, he really plays more like Magic Johnson, but
Yeah,
he's just way more athletic. And I'm glad that you pointed that out because so many people want to be like LeBron has to do it like Kobe and Mike. Like, nah, that's not his game. So I'm glad that you pointed that out, man.
Yeah, we studied him so much that, even when he came in, it was Magic Johnson with Jordan ability, right? That was it. Magic Johnson with Jordan jumping ability. That was what he was coming in the NBA with. So everyone knew he was a passer. He was an unselfish guy. I think the year he averaged 31, all the magic went out the window. It just became about be the next Jordan, be the next Jordan. And I just think that, for his legacy, he stuck to the right path. I mean, we can talk about all the losses he had in the championships, but we can be honest. Most of those teams was dog trash anyway. I mean, some
of those teams were bad.
They were bad.
Hey, listen, man, we didn't kept you a while, so we're gonna let you get out of here. But I gotta ask you
No.
What you got?
You need to tell Ryan the time. The time.
How he made you fight.
What?
No.
Fight Eton?
No.
He didn't make me. He just kept hyping it up.
I just kept hyping it up. No. But the time when Brendan tried to put his hands on me. Tell him about that one, Brendan.
I didn't try to do that to you, man.
What?
I didn't do that, man.
Listen.
I would never.
Hold on, Gil.
So look. So Brendan's now 3-0, right? He's in his mind.
No, hold on. Now, mind you, I had to fight this guy 3 times. Do you know what happened the first time me and Eton got into a fight, Ryan? So we got into a fight. We got into a little scuffle in practice. They we get into a scuffle. I end up punching him. As soon as I punch him, everybody grabs Eton. Instead of being the good leader, Gilbert Arenas is running around the court yelling, "He got him! The people's champ! The people's champ!" Eton was so damn mad. That's why I had to fight him again, man. I was literally looking around like, dude, can you chill? Like, I had to fight. He was not sleeping because, Gil was always making jokes right before he would come in the room. Eton would know that Gil was laughing about the fight. Me and Eton talked about, we literally talked about this. After the third fight, we sat down and we talked. And he was like, man, you think I don't know that Gil and then be laughing at me about the fight before I walk in the room and stuff? I know what's going on. So I literally had to fight this man 3 times because Gil kept joking about the first fight. Yeah, literally running around the gym yelling, "The people's champ, the people's champ." Thanks, Gil. Thank you a lot.
So now you got to remember, if Eton was the Hawk on our team and he just lost 3 times, who becomes the Hawk? Right? So I hit Brendan in the game like I've done every year when I got cocky. Man, get that shit off the glass. I ain't passing you the ball. We going about our way. I get a knock at my door on the road. That means we done got on the bus, went to the room. This is an hour and a half later. All I hear is, yeah. And it's Brendan. This B Wood. Hey, this B Wood. Open up. Open up. What's up?
I don't remember this story.
He said, we just got to talk for a minute. Just open up. I just got to, we just going to have to clear up some things that you said on the court. Clear up some things that we said on the court. I don't think that's a good idea. I'm not trying to get beat up today. Listen, when a man knocks on your door calmly, it's room service. Yeah, this be Wood. Open up. Nah, man.
Hey, man, I just wanted to talk. I wasn't going to do nothing to him.
Wanted to talk?
So you didn't open the door?
Hell no. I already seen what he did. I'm not trying to have no parts of that. I
just wanted to talk, man. I'm not even that type of guy.
I seen jabs. I seen 2 pistol jabs. Pop, pop, bing, bing. I seen 2 of those. I seen the whole body slam. No. Listen, I was not a fighter, okay? I talked my way There was no way I was open. I wasn't even going to open and put the latch on it because he was too strong. All right, I wasn't even going to do that. But I knew one thing. Mama Haywood taught him: don't waste no money. So I knew he wasn't going to break that dough down because he didn't want to pay for it. So as long as I had the dough closed, I was safe.
All right,
I wasn't gonna fight you, man. I was just gonna talk to you.
We got
talk to me aggressively.
We got two things we want to end on. I got to get one. I got to get a Mamba story for you because you're an LA guy. Coming home was always special. And part of your 3-year heyday where you were arguably the best player in the league or in moment, whatever you want to say, however you want to put it out, one of the baddest players in the league, you had to have some run-ins with Kobe, and Kobe doesn't take that too well. What happened? How did it go down? Give me some Mamba magic, dog.
Now, when it came to Kobe, like our relationship started back when I was a rookie because I used to show up to the gym 3-4 o'clock. So I always got to see him go through his routine. So even when I was a bench player, I'm there. So, over the time I'm getting time, I'm having success. So I think he started respecting me because I'm showing up at the gym, dedicating myself. So he can see the progression. So I remember like when, Karan came and all the Kobe stories started to come out, right? And then he changed his name to Black Mamba. Brendan is always Brendan.
I didn't do anything.
Nah, Brendan was like, hey, if you really want to get him, change your name to the Black Mongoose. Hey, me, what's the Black Mongoose? Soon as someone say, what's the Black Mongoose? I mean, that's the enemy of the Black Mamba. That's the one that fights. I'm gonna do that. So what was funny? So this is the trip all the way there. This is the funny part. We're already talking about the Lakers, and we're just the beginning of the West Coast trip. So when that game started, I was trying to figure out how to use Black Mongoose, but I couldn't remember the name. I'm thinking, like, did he say Black Monkey? Nah, it was something else. Like, I couldn't remember what Brendan, because I was for sure about to yell it, but I couldn't remember the actual name of the enemy of Cobbs. So like we just had our respect as players and just challenged each other. Like every time he thought about guarding me, I was gonna go 1 foot flat. And on the defensive end, there was no parts of me trying to guard him. I wasn't that dumb.
You're not gonna tell him about when you were when Karan, after the game you dropped 60, when Karan called Kobe and had him on speakerphone, and then you yelled out. You remembered it was Mongoose then. Then you yelled out.
Let me hear this. Okay,
hey, listen. After the game, now mind you, know how Kobe gets down. Gil dropped 60. We're flying out of L. We're on the runway. Karan is still cool with Kobe. Karan calls Kobe. They're talking. Gil, hey man, who you talking to? You talking to Kobe? Put him on speakerphone. Hey man, if you the Black Mamba, I'm the Black Mongoose.
Black Mongoose, yes, you're right. Oh.
Yeah, he's on speakerphone. Kobe was like, I'm gonna remember that when you come see me, when I come see y'all in DC. You're like, I don't care. You can't hold me. And then he proceeds to dance around the plane yelling, Mongoose, Mongoose.
Yes, yes.
That is how their little rivalry started.
How did I
because
forget
the next game, when we played in DC 2 months later, Kobe walks by, he doesn't shake anybody's hand. He smacks Gil on the butt, and he's like, remember you asked for this. And they proceeded to basically play one-on-one for the whole first half. And they're literally going at each other every single play. Kobe ends up dropping 40 in 3 quarters, but that's how that started. So you remember the Black Mongoose, and he told Kobe, if you the Mamba, I'm the Mongoose, and then proceeded to yell it. Kobe's trying to get in sentences. Gil don't care. Gil's dancing all around the plane yelling, Mongoose, Mongoose. Like he's having a good time.
How did I forget?
I don't know. I was waiting for you to say it. You forgot that you actually told him that you were the Black Mongoose.
Dang,
you gotta elaborate. You gotta break that one down, dog.
I so forgot about that story.
How could you forget about dancing on the
I was so hyped about the 60 that.
This is true. If I scored 60, maybe I would forget it too. But you were literally dancing on the phone, dancing on the plane, Kobe on speakerphone telling him that now you're the Black Mongoose. And that's how we got. And that's how we got our butts destroyed in DC when Kobe came to LA. That's how that happened. He dropped 40 3/4 because Gil decided to call that man the Black Mongoose. Hey, listen, I don't think there's a better way to end our podcast than that story right there. Man. But hey, man, we appreciate you coming on the podcast, man. It's been a blast, man. And once again, thanks for doing this for us.
Appreciate it, Gil.
Thank you for having me.